For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of top fuel funny car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey, guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
Yeah, let's do it. Ignition, back on the air. What's up, everybody? WFO Radio Ignition. We are going, baby. We are going. Myself, the Giovanni in Miami, and the cast of WFO Ignition, WFO Patreon is going to be joining us here on this program. I'm back in the studio, and it feels great. So great to be back in the studio because it has been a wild couple of weeks of travel following the NHRA Drag Racing Tour and all the great stuff that we have done on the road, whether it be Vegas or the Auto Club Finals or the Stampede of Speed or all of these things. It has been amazing to watch and enjoy as we've seen the season go by. But now, and hopefully this thing might end up obviously in our podcast feed, but maybe it'll end up in the playlist on YouTube. Who knows what we're going to do? Before we bring on our cast of characters, I want to shout out to the people who make it possible for me to go WFO on the show. I say it every week. Obviously, you already heard about FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, but the folks at Phillips Connect, of course, Bernie's Speed Shop, of course, Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. We'll be talking about them in depth. Marvin Rodak, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Sam Tech, others, Torque Calibration Services, and our great Patreon group. We're going to get into all of these folks, but you should know that they are the ones who make it possible for us to go WFO. Let's bring on Giovanni in Miami. Let's go to WFO South and find out what's up with Giovanni. What's up, Gio? As we get ready for an Ignition show, right? I guess we're not getting ready anymore. We're doing it.
All right. All is well down here in the South. We're trying to stay dry.
Yeah. And
swimming back to the property.
One of those times where sunny South Florida is not so sunny. I referenced it on our earlier today show with Alan Reinhart about storms. And it was all day rain, like one of those all day today, all day yesterday, all day the day before. Maybe if it goes for 37 more nights, we'll have to build an ark.
We'll need the ark a lot sooner than 37 nights from now. I can promise you that.
Yeah, is that? I don't know. When I after experiencing,
we'll be flooded out in a couple of days, man. Are you kidding me? A few more days like this, and we'll be ankle deep in it.
It is. I got to say, in this part of sunny South Florida, we are holding our own when it comes to flooding. We're okay. Are you flooding down there? I'm not flooding. Near the beaches,
well, not different or anything, but when you drive through the streets, there's some streets that are completely flooded, and you got to avoid certain sections. And it rained nonstop for 2 days. It kind of crept halfway up the driveway, but once it slows down, it dries pretty quickly around here. It does drain fairly well in this neighborhood.
It drains very, very well. It's a very good draining area. And then again,
I would think we would be flooded out. I mean, you've seen the pictures of downtown over there by Brickell. Those poor schleps are flooded out just when it gets high tide.
Well, that's the thing. Regular tides, if you're close to the beach, you are in trouble. Everyone remembers my greatest tweet of all time, Lamborghini or submarine. And someone needs to find that and retweet it and get it going again, right? Because that's one that gets traction every single time it floods in South Florida. Let's get it going again. Maybe we could get another 700,000 views or something. I only regret having not put the WFO link that came from my personal account. I picked up no followers, by the way, just for those of you wondering. If you send a great viral tweet, you get nothing. So, Gio, I'm back from the NHRA Awards Banquet, the finals. We had the final Formula One race. We've got Sports Collision. We've got all kinds of great stuff with the Patreons, battles, and great things coming on. But at the same time, racing season 2022 is really kind of over. That final Formula One race.
Yeah, it does. I would say that's it. It's over. Max wins again. He closes out the season with 2 wins after he had already won the championship the previous race. So 15 race wins. Unbelievable season, record breaking. He really dominated and earned it this year. It's one of those tales of what could have been maybe with Ferrari. Started out strong, won 2 out of the first 3 races, and then the bottom fell out. And
I don't know.
Look, whatever could go wrong went wrong. So let's see. I see how bad it can't get worse than this, right? So next year's got to be looking up.
That's not okay. So we'll wait for the Patreons to populate down there. I see Bug Barn down there, and Steve Brenwald's just watching, and Caleb is down there. They're all down there just checking it out. Hopefully Sue Morris and the others will join in, and we're gonna get into a lot of this. Giovanni wanted to start a little early. We started a little early. It's great, but can't get worse than this. Well, yeah, it can. It was way worse last year at this time. Our expectations.
No, I think no. You see, I don't know. I almost think this situation where they were at the beginning of the season, they had something for Red Bull. You thought that it was going to be a back and forth at the very least, that they were going to be competitive. And
well, they were. They finished second in the drivers' points, second
for one lap. For 1 lap on Saturdays, they were great.
Yeah,
but when it came down to race trim, they when the car wasn't there, it was the tires, it was their bad strategy, it was the wrong.
They made a lot of mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes.
Could go wrong, went wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So yeah, can it be worse? Yeah, they could be in the back hanging out with Williams, but like that, realistically.
But this season was a better season than last season. Yes or no?
Kind of, yeah. There's some wins.
Yeah, see, so you're just being morbid. You got
expectation is everything. When you come out and you win 2 out of the first 3 races, then it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're not going to suck this year. Well, yeah, we kind of are.
And we didn't suck. We had a fast car at times. We finished second in the drivers and second in the constructors, which are all great things. We did fail ourselves many times, but the expectation that we're going to win. Max Verstappen had 15 race wins. You said that it was a historic season, and this was his title defense after the questionable year. The idea that we were going to knock the Max train off the tracks, the Red Bull Christian Horner Max Verstappen train was going to get derailed by Ferrari coming out of nowhere. That's unrealistic. Now, we did fail more. He shouldn't have won 15. He should have won, 10. Right. And 5 of those 15 could have been one or the other of us or somebody else. But we kind of gift wrapped a lot of wins. But now the season is over. As Ferrari fans, we're directionally correct. They had a much better year than the previous 4 or 5 years. We took a huge step forward, or maybe you say Mercedes took a step back behind us. That is all for debate. But maybe next year we can take another step forward. But I don't see anybody going up there and battling Max and beating Max in this current.
Oh, no. What do you mean? No, it's unacceptable to think that way. Just so you know. Well,
it really is. It really is.
It is. They are because if the guys at Ferrari are thinking that way, then they might as well not go racing.
Well, exactly. There's a lot of money in for second, though.
I want somebody over there to come in there screaming and hollering and tell them the heads are going to roll and people are going to lose their jobs if they can't find a way to win, to beat Mercedes, not Mercedes and Red Bull. Mercedes came on at the end of the year stronger than them. They were lucky to hold Mercedes off. Is the reality.
They did.
They did. I'm not saying they didn't, but they were, you know what? It was almost lucky they held them off there at the end. It was like they were holding off Mercedes rather than trying to compete for number 1.
Yeah. Well, Charles Leclerc's last win was in Austria. And so they definitely, the number April? 1 team over there. It was in July 10th. Am I looking at this right? Yeah, race winner. Charles, Max, Sergio Perez, Max, Carlos Sainz, Charles. We went back to back. Max, Sergio Perez, Max, George Russell, Max. So, yeah, the second half of the season, Ferrari really kind of stumbled down the stretch. Let's hope that they were working on
15 Max, 3 Charles, 2 Sergio, 1 Carlos and 1 George Russell. Is that the 22 races? Unbelievable. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hadn't won anything. Yeah, since Austria. We won back-to-back races in England and Austria, and that's it. And really, the only other person to win, the only other team to win was George Russell.
George Russell won. Yeah.
Mercedes won that one.
That was just last week.
So they stepped on that. You got to give greatness credit. And Red Bull right now is greatness. Everyone's got to catch them. And they're tough to catch, right? Like, that's the thing. They're good at what they do. You got to give them credit for doing what they did. And Max Verstappen, I wasn't around for that whole swap the positions controversy. We did not get a chance to talk about that. I haven't even
in Mexico City. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to dig into it. I see the Patreons. Sue Morris is down there. She's sitting in a darkened room. Caleb is just watching. Bug Barn is out there. Let's
they're
bring
on the
Bob.
road.
Hey,
Morris is driving,
Yeah, they are on the road. Sue is in
riding
the
around in the
passenger
automobile.
somewhere.
well, she
That's
is
right.
in the dark.
She is in the dark on many things.
It's, I am in the dark. Yeah, what can I say? They say that about me all the time.
They do.
Not more trouble in the motorhome, I hope.
Yes. Is the motorhome okay? Is this everything?
Oh, no. Motorhome's great. WFO, y'all.
Hi, Sue. Bobby Graham.
No,
Patreons.
we are in the Chevy Cruise studio, heading up 81 north to visit friends and family in Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're going on a little road trip. Getting on the
Yeah.
highway as part of the 80 million people or whatever that are going to drive more than 50 miles from their house this weekend, and the third largest travel weekend ever in American history, so they say.
It's Thanksgiving week here at WFO and everybody and everywhere else, I guess, for that matter.
Yes. And everywhere else. Bug Barn says, time for a timely show. Caleb out there. How is everybody? Can't participate too much because of work, but glad to be along for the ride. What's up, Caleb? Caleb is Caleb, who I hung out with Justin Ashley at the U.S. Nationals, right, Caleb? That was a great time. Justin was like, hey, come work for me, Caleb. And I don't know what happened after that, but that is interesting. Oh, Matt Clark is down there, too. Look at Matt is entering the show.
Hey.
Still got a bum wing
Good day, guys.
in his chair. Good day. Good
I
day,
know
Matt.
you say it
Good day,
now.
Matt.
It's been like months.
Oh,
Months and months. This guy's healing, like the forever healing.
all right.
Look at that.
No swing.
8 weeks.
Ah, look. We got
2 weeks till I'm back to work.
right in front of us. I like it.
Throw your hands in the air. Ed, wave them like you just don't care. Matt Clark in Australia. Say, oh, yeah. That's it. He's waving his arm like an old school hip hop guy. All right, guys. Gio and I just had a minor argument, but not really, nothing big, about how do you look at the Ferrari season in Formula One here. I know we're going to talk some NHRA finals. We're going to catch up with everybody. It's going to be great. We're getting the show started early. We might even post it on YouTube. But all right, it's in the books. Red Bull has dominated, but what about Ferrari? How do we view this season? As an epic failure or directionally correct? Sue Morris.
I wouldn't call it an epic failure, but it was definitely not one that they can take pride of. I mean, absolutely failed strategy. So, they should have been more competitive, though it was exciting to see them show some glimmers, but they qualified well. Dunk. How do
Right.
you keep up the
Qualified
show
well. That's
when
the
you
best we
qualify
can
so
say.
well?
They qualified well. If they spend as much time working on making their race strategy fast as they are trying to stop Sue Morris's internet connection, we would be a lot.
Yeah.
We'd be a lot better off. They're messing with you, Sue. You're in and out a little bit.
It's all good.
The Florians. Is Dave with you? What's
I'm
Dave
just-
up to?
Yeah.
Is Dave allowed to talk on
Dave's
the air,
driving.
Sue?
Dave can always talk if he wants to,
What's up, Dave Morris?
Hold on. You gotta
He's
say
like
hey.
Teller. He's like Teller. There he is.
There,
There you
Dave.
go.
Dave Morris. Welcome to the show.
She turned the light off on him.
Is this his debut?
Oh, what happened?
Everyone is commenting. Wow, he's real. Is this the debut? Sue, is this the David Morris debut on WFO? I think it is.
She finally let him on the air.
It is. Right. And Sue's got her earbuds in, and that's why Dave is a little off mic. We can hear him a little bit, but good to kind of see you, Dave. That's great.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
There he is.
WFO.
He's keeping Sue very safe.
Straight on the road.
Yes. Keep driving nice and straight. Keep things going on. You see Troy in Oregon has joined the show as well. There it is. Everybody is on, and we're getting going. So this is the WFO Ignition Thanksgiving edition. We had an NHRA Nitro a little bit earlier today. On Wednesday, I'll be doing a happy hour with Jason and Courtney, and it's going to be a fun, crazy scene, I'm sure, as we recap the Auto Club Finals and the NHRA Awards Banquet, and talk about who looked good and all that stuff. But for WFO Ignition behind the scenes, like this is our Thanksgiving week program where we tie it all together, the whole season, and get ready for the big Black Friday, right? Black Friday is coming, all that kind of stuff. So, Troy, what about you? What's going on in your world?
Pretty slow week. What's up, y'all? I got a short week at work. Some Christmas shopping today. Little daytime shopping date with the wife. Had some lunch, and just relaxing, man. Gonna hang out with the fam all week and just take it easy.
Yeah, I had a little discussion with Giovanni before the show started about Friday happening on Wednesday. And he's like, well, what do you mean Friday's Friday? And I was like, no, Friday is Wednesday. The final day of the week, this week, comes on Wednesday, which means I got to get a week's work of work done between now and then. Good news is I'm off to a great start. And that Wednesday is always fun. We shut it down mid-afternoon. But that's it. The racing season is over. It's kind of a bummer, man.
Yeah, it is a bummer. There's still going to be a few places down south in your area. I mean, you guys don't race all year, but racing's pretty much over. It's a bummer deal, but it's nice to slow down and just relax for a while too,
Exactly. We got Scott down there. Scott Bell from north of the border says, what's up to everyone from the Great White North? I can't imagine how cold it is where he is. No thanks. Sorry, Scott. No. And Matt, what about you, Bobby Graham? What are things going in Bobby Graham's universe? You feeling better now? We missed you on a couple of shows.
Feeling better. Hadn't went back to work yet. We finally got the truck back together. We did a overhaul on the front end of it, and we're about ready to start back work again.
That's great. So get back to work, Bob. Too much time not working. You need to be working more.
Shit. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I like that.
Genuine reaction from Bobby Graham. That's what everybody
says. I was going to listen to the Monday motivation, but I was on the tractor pulling up trees today and burning trees. So I have to wait till I get finished at the barn.
On Thanksgiving week, you need to be working more. Everybody needs to be working more.
Got to stay home this week. This is my anniversary week, so I got to stay home this week. I'm going to stay home.
Well, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to Bobby Graham.
Happy anniversary, Bobby. How many years?
42.
Wow. Congrats,
tremendous,
man.
Happy anniversary.
That's
awesome, Bobby. Congrats.
That's the second half.
Yeah, that is amazing stuff, Bobby. Good job. So Auto Club Finals this past week. I am just curious to hear what everybody else has to say about it. I loved it, of course. I had a great and positive experience, right up there with the best of the best for me. But what I always find interesting is hearing the Patreon takes, stuff that happened that you guys watched either on Fox or on NHRA TV, things that happen, questions you may have. For me, my reality is whatever it is. And then I move on to the next minute and forget the last minute. But what stuck out in your mind from this whole past couple weeks, the NHRA conclusion with Brittany and Ron Capps and, championships being decided and all that. I know we touched on it a little bit. Did we do a show last week? I think we did, or maybe we didn't. Giovanni, what's the log say for WFO Ignition?
Negative.
We did not do a show last week.
Negative. Did not make it.
Interesting. I did get back Wednesday. We're very late. And I am
you got into town like around the midnight hour or something and didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's right. I recall that when you said you didn't want to do it. That was unfortunate. I am still not back on East Coast time, just so everybody knows.
Night that the rocket took off, that Artemis 20.
I got home and I showered from a whole day of just being in airports and everything. And I got home and I just got in bed and I pulled like the cover up, like, here it is. And I opened up my phone, Artemis rocket launching in 3 minutes. Like, oh man, do I go outside? I want to go outside and maybe see it, but I don't want to go outside at all. I don't want to get up again. So I decided to watch it from a screen. Turns out you could see it like it flew right over our houses. Those shots you sent me, Giovanni, from the balconies in Miami, like I never would have thought you'd have seen it like that. It was flying right through the air.
You could see it. You could have gone outside and see it. He's like, no, that's a lie. I'm like,
I thought you could. No way you're going to see a tiny little dot like that, hundreds of miles away. Sure enough, it was like big, like a rocket flying across the sky, like the original Man in the Moon movie.
Think about how much the world has changed. Where, I mean, if there was a rocket blast into space back in the day, I mean, that's shutting down anywhere that can see it. Everybody's outside. Drop what you're doing. The store's closed. We're, and here you are, like, do I get out of bed or not? Or let me just stream it. Like,
to be fair, I think it was like almost 1 o'clock in the morning or something already.
Yeah, it was
down here on the East Coast.
When we do it so often too, it's like a rocket launching to space, like, isn't even
right. This was a historic first, though. This was a historic go back to the moon trip, and the whole NASA biggest rocket ever made ever. But your point is taken that
I saw the space shuttle take off one time. That's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life. Like, you could feel the energy right there, just like it's amazing.
Which time are you talking about, Gio? That time we were on the side of the road?
Yep. Remember that?
Okay.
Coming back from Gainesville.
Coming back from the Gator Nationals, and they launched a shuttle, and we pulled off to the side of the road and saw it. But you can look at a map and figure out where the turnpike is in relationship to where they launched the rockets. We were far, and you could feel it. How is that possible? That you could be so far away from something and still feel it. It is amazing, and I've been tracking it.
Yes. Relative term, man. The whole state's only like 75 miles wide, and so we weren't really that far from it. We were, as the crow flies, probably only like 20 or 30 miles.
The state has got to be more than 75 miles wide, man. Maybe not that much.
Still, 30 miles is a ways. Still, so
30 miles is far. We could feel it crackling.
Yeah, not for a rocket with that guy. Yeah, not for a rocket, man. 30 miles is right there for a rocket. Let me tell you.
Yes. Well, so I've been following it.
I can only imagine when that Imperial cruiser shows up, we're gonna freak out, man, because those things.
Artemis arrived at the moon, just so you all know. Hey, welcome to Megan. Megan says, hi, everyone. I'm just finding the chat section. Yeah, it takes a minute or two to locate the chat section, those of us that are in here in our StreamYard studio. And the chat section can be utilized for changing the direction of the show with a comment. But I'm interested in hearing some Auto Club Finals talk, starting with Matt Clark. Like, Matt, you guys got the news down there. What were your takeaways and what shocked you?
Has it happened?
Yeah.
Has it been on?
It's over.
Oh,
yeah.
It hasn't happened in the Upside Down.
No, I've ruined it for you.
No.
Can you believe somebody attacked me on Twitter for tweeting a result? Like, Brittany Force's champ. You ruined it for me, man. Like, excuse me, you don't know how Twitter works.
Yeah, turn off your notifications. Don't pay attention if you don't want to.
What am I supposed to do, really? Like, I don't want to send this tweet because someone maybe hasn't seen it. You don't know. You don't care. That's the way I think it is. Anyway, Matt, your takeaways.
Yeah, huge event. I got through an hour and 3 minutes of today's WFO show, Nitro show. I guess the biggest thing is caps. And as Pedregon put it, got the big kahunas out and ran that last run.
Yeah. Really.
Pound for pound, I don't know if I would have done it. That's for sure.
Well, I quizzed Reinhart, and he says probably not. I saw him in a couple of social situations after the event, and he was more adamant then that he wouldn't have run it. I had a lot of text messages from people within the quote unquote industry saying that they wouldn't have run it because of, NHRA's rule. And I understand that rule. I get it. But they ran it. And Guido was like, yeah, it wasn't really even that big a decision because we hadn't crossed the center line all year. I've got a great driver. The car goes straight. It'll be fine. If there's something goes wrong, step off. That was the quote. Something goes wrong, step off, and they win. Then they ran it out. 385 lost.
Yeah, just incredible, mate. That's probably the biggest one. And I don't know if you wrote the picks down there, Joe, from last week or the week before, sorry, that we all made, but I had on the tip of my tongue to say Caps. I know this is going to sound good in 2020 hindsight.
Yep.
But he would have been my second pick behind Robert, and pulled it off.
Okay. Let's see. I've got the picks. See, there's a perfect example. Gio, did you remember that we had done picks and I had written them down?
Nope. Absolutely
Me either.
not.
Oh, no. And that's what the Patreons do. They remind us of stuff. Megan says that's literally why I got NHRA TV. I was so sick of waiting for Fox to air. What am I supposed to do? Not look at social media? Well, that's exactly right, Megan. And that's what you do. You get NHRA TV and you live the event with the rest of us in real time. Okay, so Matt had picked David Grubnick and Robert Height. Troy had picked Brittany and Robert Height. Pickle Rick had picked Brittany and Robert Height. Sue picked Brittany and Ron Capps. Way to go, Sue Morris. How do you feel about your pick of Ron Capps?
Winner! I was jumping up and down and said,
wow.
Drop the mic. I called it. Loved it.
You did call it. And that's all the people I have down for picks, including myself. I didn't put myself down, and I didn't write Giovanni down. Giovanni, did you recall making a pick? More importantly,
I definitely did. I remember having Ron Capps and Brittany also.
Yes. Anybody else recall that? We need it back.
Everybody remembers. Who doesn't?
Monica says
Gio had Bob Locke. He had everybody.
Bob Locke, right.
Yeah, Bob Locke.
So,
I think he bet Troy as well, didn't he?
Yeah, right.
There were odds.
Our bet is still alive. It's not over yet. I am trailing as we speak with one game left on Saturday night. And actually, the discussion around here was about whether we're going to go to this game or not. You know,
what's the plan on that? Yeah, you got to do a Bob Locke. You got to win. You have to win. You got to go and you got to win to what? To push and to win the bet, right?
That's it. 6-6 is a win.
6-6 is a win.
Oh, who would have thought? Hurricanes, Panthers, shaping up. I mean, it's a big game. There's two people in this country.
This is rivalry weekend.
Yeah. Tuned in, baby. Coast to coast implications, man.
I'm not saying I don't want to go to the game, Giovanni, but we're, I think, 0 this season at the games. So I don't know.
Right?
I don't think we've seen the Canes win anything in a long time in person. Just saying. Last year, I ended the season off with that big doink off the upright.
No, I saw a game win. I saw a win last year. I saw one win.
Okay, yeah. Bad news.
At the Chippewa game too. I think I saw 2 wins last year in person.
Okay.
But now I got to think about it. I don't know. I've been to 3 games, I think, and I think we didn't. I thought I saw 1 win. So,
well, if you have to think about it that hard, then we probably didn't see anything.
I don't think you were there that week, is what it is.
The last good thing I saw at that stadium was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and before that, it was Formula One. Unfortunately, none of it has been football, which is sad, but it is what it is. All right, back to drag racing. The Caps deal is really mega. That's a huge deal, but I feel terribly for Robert Height. Like those guys, like they didn't win it. No, they didn't win in the countdown, but they had an incredible season. And knowing them personally, I just can't not feel terrible for them to put that effort and come up short. And it's just, that's it. Competition, right?
Yeah,
Dickie Venables had a great year too, but not like Robert Height. Oh my gosh, what a year. Lost in the playoffs.
That throwdown though, Saturday night was you want to talk about the blast heard around the world, right? I mean, Amanda Busick just got done interviewing Matt Hagan going, yeah, I heard Robert Height gave a fist pump when you couldn't really make it down the track and smoke the tires. And then Ryan Capps goes down and lays down the number 1 and takes the whole thing and goes within the 3 points. That was incredible. What a moment.
Yeah. What a moment. Huge, huge moment. And that could be, and it turned out, the reason he won the championship. His 3rd, and we've got Caps. We're already working on getting him on WFO in the coming weeks. We're working on all that schedule and stuff. But just brutal. The sport comes down, 1.5 points comes down to those runs like that. But qualifying is important, and you want someone who can throw down, and they did. And speaking with Guido on the starting line about how he was going to handle the situation, and I've relayed the story a couple of times, and he's agreed to come on WFO and talk about it. It was never in question whether or not they were going to run it. So definitely congratulations to Caps. Hung out with Caps a little at the awards banquet. Cousin Donnie as well. Tried to record something for the show to replace the WF. Yeah, but I don't think it worked out too well. But amazing stuff. Just an amazing year. Yeah. Well, apparently Donnie's mom doesn't like the profanity. You know, like there's my kid every time cursing on the air. Right? Cursing on the air. Not good. Any other thoughts about Funny Car this year? Like things that stand out in your minds other than one of the best years, if not the best year ever? Like, how could it not be the best year ever? Cruz's final race. Cruz is going to be on Monday, guys. A week from today, we're going to have Cruz. We're going to have Angie Smith. We're going to have Greg Anderson in a winter show a week from today. And I'm going to need everybody to help me push it there during the off week, during this week. But is that the best single day for anyone in a Funny Car ever? Weekend, 84, 84, 84, 84, 80s, 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 low ET of your life in the final. That's kind of good day. That's about as good as it gets.
Well, yeah, and they kept saying, maybe it was Alan kept saying, you know, I bet he wishes that we were starting the season today, you know, and yeah, awesome to get on a run like that, but also like for it to finally come together right when you got to put it back in the trailer all year, you know, and the long season off. So hopefully he comes out swinging next year. And Pomona, to wrap that up, I mean, for me, it was the Caps thing still like is hard to wrap my head around because I just didn't see it happening. Going into something like that, Height and his crew, I mean, they're just so good. And I didn't see it happening. And he didn't back into it, right? He went out and earned it, but it almost feels like when you watched Robert lose it, when it was no longer in his control, and he's standing there on the starting line and he watches himself lose it. It just is weird, man. And I mean, the Brittany thing, like amazing accomplishment, but that's kind of how it was supposed to go, right? After the year that she had,
right?
That's how it's supposed to go. And for Caps to just all of a sudden, I mean, going into that race, not very many people thought he was going to pull that off. I mean, a handful, and to do it the way he did, and all of a sudden after leaving Vegas the way they left, to then all of a sudden be the champion, it's just crazy.
It really is. And I'm looking at the ladder right now, and there were so many, and I want to dig down on this a little more, but big runs like the second round run, Robert and Tasca battling it out. Antron Brown told us on this show weeks ago, laughing it up, right? Like, those two don't get along with each other. Remember that? And that was, kick that out there a little bit. But you're Bob Tasca, you're in the fight. Remember, Robert was going to sweep the Western swing, and then Tasca won Sonoma, and he's like, he's sweeping, but he's not sweeping the swing. So there was friction there between those two teams, like kind of going, well, Tasca is losing his crew chief. This is a final race for Mike Neff over there. And like they stop Robert Height from winning the championship is really what happened right there. But Robert stopped themselves. They went up in smoke. They both went up in smoke. Tasca won 426. I'm always thinking about the personalities, just the personalities, the conflict, the friction between those two, because they're going to be only one winner. It's brutal. It's the ultimate brutality. You should have won, but you didn't, and you lost because during the countdown, Caps, man, look at this guy. He had an unbelievable countdown. This is probably the best countdown of all his championships. I haven't figured that out yet, but he had 2 wins and 2 runner-ups, 4 finals in the countdown. That's pretty good in Funny Car. But those second round matchups that were so critical, there's good cars enough that if they all get through to the second round, there's problems.
Yeah. I went over to his pit in Vegas after he went out, and he made a lot of social media posts after Vegas, how he felt like he let everybody down. And
Caps.
Yeah. And man, when I went to his pit, I don't know that I haven't been around a lot of pro drivers after a defeat. I'll admit that, but you could tell it was just eating him. He was just so disappointed in himself. And he's folding up the parachutes, right? Because they got testing the next day, and they're all staying for Monday testing. So they're still going through the post-run motions, pack the chutes, do the things, do all the stuff, right? And there's all these fans there who are like, they don't care that he just lost. They love Ron Capps, and they want autographs. And he just, like, you could see him taking his space, and he made everyone wait until he got both of those parachutes packed perfect. And you could just see him simmering on it. And I didn't give him enough credit to think like he's coming back from that, because he was on his heels after Vegas, and to come back the way they did into Pomona, pretty amazing testament to just the heart that it takes. Because they could have easily said, you know what, that's, we're pretty much out of it.
Well, when the spine gets broken, right? What's interesting is to go back and look at these things after they've happened. It was Bob Tasca who took out Ron Capps in the second round in Vegas. And so Bob Tasca, here's this guy, he factored in all these different ways, one way or another. Like maybe you don't come out of the season as a champion, and he loses Neff, and that's going to be really difficult for him to rebuild over there. But this season, he factored in. He was like mixing it up, and one of those wild cards that wrecked shop.
Yeah, and there was like a 2 or 3 week stretch in the season where he might have had the best car on the tour for 3 weeks in a row. Tasca, I don't know how Neff will affect him. Hopefully he can figure it out, because Tasca's somebody who, if he can keep building on the momentum he had this year, is somebody they're going to have to watch out for next year.
Well, I'm wondering what's going to happen with the crew chiefing situation. But thinking about Robert Hight losing the final to Matt Hagan out there in Vegas, like that's it too, right? Like all these little, that run, this run, what happened? What was the situation? Of course, it's very difficult to beat Dickie Venables in the final round. But I can still remember giving up the win light in the high school race of champions in 1991 at Gainesville Raceway. Like I still remember it. I was in my dad's pickup truck, and I'm going down the racetrack, and I am feeling like I might get there, but it's going to be close. And I gave it just like a whop like that, right? But the truck weighs 4,000 pounds. It slowed down a little. I gave up the win light by a few thou. I think it was 10 thou, probably 100. So it was 5 thou. It was thou. And I lost, and I'm a loser forever. Forever, man. This is not cool. Think about Robert Hight.
He's not over it, Troy.
Yeah. Gosh, like it's just nobody deserves that. That's all.
Only 31 years ago.
Hang with him. It was only right. It's only 30 years ago. Should be over it.
Man, yeah. It does. When you think about when it comes down to just those points, qualifying all year. Right? Think about some other race randomly throughout the year. You have a bad qualifying round. By the end of the season, those 2 or 3 points could be the difference between taking it home or not. And so you think about like the ladder games maybe that sometimes get played. I mean, can you even afford that in a field as competitive as it was this year? You can't afford to play any ladder games. You need those top spots.
Right. Well, look at Dallas Glenn and the difference where he finished versus where he would have finished had he qualified. But he was trying to take down Erica for Greg, and I appreciate that. Megan says Robert had a great season, but huge W for Capps as a first-time team owner. There'll be more for Robert, but I'm glad Capps took the championship. Well, it all works out in the end, right? Capps has lost 2 championships by single digits, and now he won one by single digits. And it's one of those, like, you keep going to the door's going to open sometimes. Steve Brenwald says, I thought someone said Crew's team just switched from a 5 to 6 disc clutch. Any truth to that? Yes. There 3 races ago, mid-countdown. They switched up to the 6 disc program, brought Lee Beard on board, and it has clearly worked in that. Drexler Jeff says, can't feel bad for Robert. It is a brutally abrupt sport. I want Capps to catch force in the championships. What? That's a lot
a tall order.
Yeah, okay.
Never gonna happen.
Only 13 more. Just
13
more. Capps will be out there trying to with the walker with the tennis balls on the bottom, getting in the car. Capps has no desire to do that. I am telling you.
Brutally abrupt. That's a good way. That's a good way to talk about drag racing too. Like the finality of it all, whether it's each round or each race or then the season, the finality of drag racing is, man, it's pretty special.
Well, it is. And these great moments. And I am very thankful that I get to share moments with these drivers and teams in those moments and be appreciative. Like, wow, I hope everyone's getting this. I hope everyone is freaking out like I am. It's amazing stuff. Brittany, you said, was more of it was an all season long, meant to be kind of thing. Everyone picked Britt. Real bummed for Justin and those guys. Everybody like tripped on their feet in the first round of the final race, right? They all went up in smoke and she didn't. And so there it is. But Justin and Mike Salinas, one of those, if you're not ready to do it, like Justin had a great countdown, not as good as Austin Prague's countdown, but a great countdown nonetheless. Runner up, first round win, first round. And so that's the unfortunate circumstance. And that Vegas race, Troy, that you were at, right? Like that was the pivotal race in Top Fuel. Brittany wins and the contenders had a tough race.
Well, you talk about Tasca being a spoiler. What Clay Milliken did in Vegas was huge, and it felt huge in the moment. That wasn't a Justin smoked him and Clay got the win. Clay threw a tune-up on him and smoked him.
Yeah.
And put him on the trailer. And it was just like, holy, like, no way that just happened, because if he would have just went deep at all, Pomona looks a lot different, I think. And even if Justin wouldn't have won the race, if he would have just went deep. But to get taken out first round, I mean, what a big moment.
Yeah, he had a 38 reaction time, ran 75. Clay was 63 with a 369.5. Like, that's the deal. That was a throwdown run by Jimmo that knocked Justin out. They took a swing. And when people start to know you're the guy, they start to take bigger swings. And it hooked up. Salinas takes out Clay. Austin gets taken out by Salinas. Austin Prock, what a countdown. And Brittany beats Mike Salinas on a hole shot. And that run, like Brittany, he was 70 with a 2. She's 70 with a 5, but she had a no 34 reaction time. He's 66. Like that right there changes the complexion. Like the dynamic is constantly shifting.
Historically, that race goes the other way, right? She's got the 66 and he's got the 34.
I don't know if he's got the 34.
Well, she's probably got the 66 for so long. She's been having trouble with her lights, and so I'm just saying, like, that's one of those moments where Brittany had been maybe giving some of those away over the last couple of years. And to get that one was big for sure.
And I got to look at the numbers, but Brittany ran Antron second round. And I think she was some crazy number like 0-6 against Antron this season. And the one she beats him is pivotal race to win the championship. Amazing stuff. Monica says it's always hard to watch someone lose when it's so close, but I was super happy for Caps. Totally agree. And keep those comments coming in the chat section. Someone is trying to enter the studio, Gio, but it is full. We've got 12 people on board. That's great. We're having a big show here today. And if you're out there, WFO Patreons, and it's a rotating thing. And I've got a whole host of people down there in the chat section. Pickle Rick is on there. There's a guy who made a couple good picks as well. Should be real interesting. Maybe when someone drops out, someone else will jump in there. Pro Stock. Is there any final thoughts on Funny Car? Anything anybody wanted to talk about? Funny Car put out there an idea, concept, anything that happened or didn't happen over the course of the season that is worth discussing here? Definitely not.
No, I'm good.
Definitely not. Good. No, well, listen, I thought it was a great year, regardless. Pro Stock Erica Enders goes to the final round against Greg Anderson. Like, there isn't that. What's more fitting than that? There's nothing more fitting than that. Greg racing for Ken Black in his final race as a team owner, and Erica trying to win her 11th race of a career season. Maybe the edge is slightly off. I don't know. I don't think so. But Greg got the win and got his 101st win. And I got to enjoy one of the best top end moments ever. I wasn't rolling on it, unfortunately. But when Erica came over and had her moment with Greg, she just, she said, F. And they laughed. And that was it. It was awesome. But I don't know. What a great final round. she had a 60, he had a 40. Like the lights weren't very good. No, he was 20, to be fair to Greg. He was 20, 1 thou slower. So she'd had to been, 19 or better. But what a great pro stock race.
It's too bad it was all over by then. Locking it up in Vegas, I mean, well, it means someone had a really awesome, dominant season, right? So there's lots of good races before that, a lot of amazing performances. When things get locked up in Vegas, man, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but, what do you do? Like, you can't – the girl dominated.
No, she deserves it. It's amazing.
She won 4 of the first 5 of the 6 countdown races. She won 4 of them and runnered up at another and lost in the semis or second round in Charlotte. Hartford got her, I think. But like, that's incredible. That is an epic countdown in any class, let alone pro stock, which is so close. So she deserved to get it. I was happy to see Greg get that win. And then Matt Smith in pro stock motorcycle, I felt was like the sound of inevitability from the very beginning. Like, I think Joey knew too. Like, hey man, this is great that I even get to be here, battling and gaining this experience. But Matt Smith was on a mission. He was probably on most mission than anyone, even Erica, from start of season to completion of season. With all the gamesmanship, the swapping of bikes, going back and forth, causing a ruckus mentally with people. Just a great season. And all these champions will be on WFO at some point.
Parade of champs.
Yeah. Matt Clark, your thoughts?
Mate, it was quite incredible. Pro stock motorcycle, especially. Like Steve Johnson seemed to be the tail of the first half of the season, as that outside guy, and then Joey Gladstone in the second half of the season. It's just, with all the controversy that in the first half of the season with Steve and a few of his comments, and then, well, from the outside here looking in, Joe, I don't know what it was like there on the ground, but it's like it all just went quiet, disappeared.
Steve kind of lost his way. I haven't talked to him about why, but early in the year, remember Matt was talking about the magic tire, and sometimes you just get a magic tire that's really great and everything. I think that's a little, disrespectful of what Steve is doing, but they definitely didn't perform. They had some parts failures. I'm sure like this is an example of typically there's a reason, right? But they don't want to say the reason because maybe it has to do with a part supplier and they don't want to get that part supplier angry, or maybe it has to do with themselves, but there's typically a reason that performance will fall off like that. And Steve was gutted when the bike wouldn't burn out on the final race.
I think that Matt Smith comment was straight out of the Ricky playbook. Get into somebody's head, special tire. If you ask me,
right?
That's
like
straight out of his dad's playbook. Like, got nothing to do with what's happened on the track or a car or a part or a spark plug. Let's just get in his head. If I take that tire off, Matt said, I'm not going to go as quick. Maybe I won't. And then the voices start talking to you, right?
Maybe.
We've all been there.
Who knows? Well, exactly. And is Matt Smith like that good? He's Ricky 2.0, and he's just like planting seeds in the brains of the competitors, Bobby?
I think he's pretty close. Just to hearing all the stuff that Ricky has done. He's got the playbook down. Let's put it this way. He got Dad's playbook.
Well, and what a whiz, right? Like to be able to execute what he did tactically using 2 bikes. I mean, that's insane. It
was a smart deal to do. I mean, you're out there to compete, and it's kind of, and it's legal. It's legal. So why not use the legal rules?
Well,
and he got into a lot of them's head with it, and just, I think that's what it was. He just got into their head a lot with the 2 different bikes, and they just couldn't handle
it. Well, in a field so tight, you'd think you need to devote 100% of your energy and attention into one combination to remain competitive. And to be able to go back and forth, I think at any time he could have switched back to the other bike, whichever one was the one he wasn't riding, and he could have got both of those bikes into the final round, probably at any race. all season.
No double entries next year. Sorry, no double entries.
Yeah, he could have. It's pretty amazing that to have two separate combos and to be able to switch mid-race sometimes, not just between one track to the next, but in the middle of a race. And
yeah, that was historic. First of all, like we haven't really seen that, and yeah, Matt, is that good to keep? And Joey Gladstone said it right. If he can do that, then that's amazing, and we shouldn't be complaining about it. Sue Morris, I know you wanted to get in on a couple of these things. Go.
I have to. First off, congrats to Matt, but Angie really, she came in to that race at Pomona and was just impressive. Her lights were great. Even down to that final was she was cutting great lights this weekend, and it was so great to see her really come into it and get that final round and win the race. And again, having both of them, Matt winning the championship and Angie winning the whole thing was quite a sight to see. I was thrilled for both of them, but Erica, but hey, we all, she just, I think they interviewed her, and it was just something she was doing different with her foot, that she was lifting off the clutch, but hey, it happened. Was hoping for better things with Erica. I was ready for her to take that 11th win of the season and bring the whole thing home and really make it a Grand Slam season for her. So, but still, there's no head hanging in that camp. But
oh no.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Completely interesting.
Oh yeah, big news coming. Big news coming after the first of the year about GA and Rob Downing and what's going to happen with KB. And it's right now lawyers and all that stuff is going down, but they'll do it. I'm hearing very interesting things about Pro Stock 2023, things that people may really, really like. If it were to happen, things that, we shouldn't even discuss, because if it happens, I think people will really love it. Yeah. Angie Smith, runner-up to Joey and Redding. I'd like to see 6 races Pro Stock Motorcycle Countdown, frankly. Putting that big X on the Charlotte race, kind of a bummer. But just how about the, the outsiders like Jerry Savoy, a couple of runner-ups back-to-back. Hector Jr., back-to-back wins. Like, wow, guy comes off the bench out of nowhere in the middle of the playoffs and kicks everybody's butt twice. Wow, that's really amazing. And then husband and wife.
Eddie Krawick doesn't qualify for the race.
First time in years that he hasn't won a race, and DNQs at the final race. A forgettable season for Eddie. Yeah.
You just see its disappointment. It was shocking.
Yep. Matt says Ford, ? What do you mean?
Pro Stock.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. Well, Reinhart's saying it, and I listen to Reinhart, and so there's that competition eliminator dragster that is out there with those Ford cylinder heads on it, and I believe that to be the genesis of this conversation. So let's see how that plays out. Like, it'll be a real Ford engine. What? Is that possible?
That makes sense, right? Like, I was trying to think, I'm like, they can't make a 500-inch Coyote, or it's got to be, they're going to make some castings off of that comp car.
Right. And,
they probably still have the castings, right? That made those ones. I'm sure somebody's got them.
Unknown.
There's
unknown exactly what's going on, but I feel like you just got a little insight into how that could be. But who wants to do it though, right? Like, that's the thing is you've got, and this is what Warren Johnson told me a couple of years ago about the Dodges and about the Ford. He goes, it's not that the design is bad. The design is good. But when you have one person working on it versus the other platform where there's, 10 people working on it, you're never gonna catch up. You need numbers. There's strength in numbers. Iaconio said the same thing about his own engines when he was building one for Kenny Delco. It was a problem because he could build one and he could try some things, but he goes, I need at least 4 customers. I need to be building 4 engines so we can have the R&D engine and we can have this one and we get a program. You get a program together for development. And look, Iaconio has been fast the second half of the season. He got all these cars and now he's fast. The same will be true for the Ford. If it's just one guy with one Ford, I don't expect it to do very much. If you can get a couple of Fords out there where they got a program and they're testing and they're going down the racetrack and trying stuff, man, you never know. You never know.
I guess then the next question is parity, because you've between Elite and blank KB, you've come up with such a great program to the point that Pro Stock is at its most equal level ever, and the racing and the competition is fantastic. Does that other engine come in and all of a sudden, highly unlikely, but become better? Just like the guy that runs
I'd love to see it. Like a guy unloads the Ford and puts 300 on people. That would be like, what happens now? What do you do? Right?
Well,
they're not going to take weight off the Chevrolets after the kicking the Ford's butt.
A little time in the garage after the race is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but just like that gentleman that runs the Dodge, he says, if I had 500 RPM more, I think I'd be more competitive. And that the only reason I say that is our V8 supercar program down here, and it's might be a bit strange to you guys with NASCAR and everything else, but they literally get the two engines, which are totally different, the Ford engine and the Chevrolet engine, and they're only allowed to make 650 horsepower.
Right.
Both
we did a hidden horsepower. Who did I do the hidden horsepower with, Matt? That told us all about that for those that are interested. He gave a whole in-depth sequencing on that stuff.
Kenny Mack.
There you go.
Yeah.
I thought that was so
Correct.
interesting. They don't equalize their engines with let's take some pulley off or let's add 5 pounds. They make them all be equal on the dyno. Like that's it. You got a Ford, that's fine. Make 650 horsepower with your Ford. And it keeps things equal. I think it's against the American spirit, though, Matt. I have to tell you.
Well, I got to say, mate, as your little brothers down here, we were probably the same when it all first come out, and now it's not even people don't even talk about it anymore. It's not a consideration anymore, So, I guess it was like supercars having an independent rear end, and now they do, and no one talks about it anymore.
I guess.
Yeah, and much to the same of what Elite and KB have created, everyone's got the same engine essentially right now.
Oh yeah, for the most the parts are the same, and it remains to be seen like what parts availability is coming in the future. We're going to find out about that real soon. But who knows? Like maybe all cars will be Fords 5 years from now.
Reverse back, Joe, and tell Warren Johnson 20 years ago that everyone's going to have the same parts for their engine in Pro Stock. What would his reaction be? Yeah,
I don't know. If it's his development, which is the DRCE, then he'd probably be happy. I don't know if he gets anything for it. If he gets a licensing deal on that deal, but probably not. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We'll just have to see how it all goes. And there are some rumblings. And hey, if someone can put together a Ford program, I am all for it.
Well, you think the Quadras would love to have some Ford power under the hood of those Mustangs?
Maybe, elites, the reason they're fast, that's the thing is that everybody's power is pretty much similar or the same. And then they work on the chassis. I don't know if you want to introduce a variable as they are starting to get really good, right? Like,
and I just mean personally, you don't run a Ford body unless you're a Ford guy. So
I agree with
the Quadras got to be Ford guys.
I don't know. I think the Quadras just want to mix it up, but I'll that's something we can definitely ask him. What about the Lucas Oil Series? Joey, obviously, you're super happy for your guy winning again, bookending the Meyer family championships with championships of his own. Doug Gordon, great story. Maddie and Macy, and the whole Lucas Oil Series. Sue, I know you've got personal friends all throughout that. When you think about all the great Lucas Oil Series storylines, what jumps out at you?
First off, Bob Locke, what can you say? This is what tells you from racing is when you look at, Jeremy Hancock,
Oh man, you know what? The internet is not letting Sue speak. The internet is against Sue tonight. This is terrible, Sue. I feel so badly for you. I know you were making a great point. So why don't you try reconnecting, Sue? Let's kick Sue out. Let's try to get Sue reconnected. Maybe it's something like that. But I think what she's saying is to have to show up somewhere and win a super gas race is like impossible. Like you've got to win. You've got to go here and you've got to win this race and you'll be the champion. And if you don't, you're not. And he did it. To win any super gas race on any given day at any given time, because you had to, that's against the odds. The handicappers in Vegas would not. Like, what would the bet be to win a super gas race? Anybody, like John LeBouse, to win any super gas race, 20-1, and yet it happens. Bob Locke goes out there and gets the job done, and he wins it. Amazing. Well, that's why I really think there's some sort of cosmic energy that intervenes in a lot of these things, and he had it. With all the support of the friends and the family that sent him out there, that was amazing.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And yeah, like in that class, you're talking about a horsepower dyno restriction in the other class, but like all those 90 cars can run way faster than the index, and so it comes down to the driver, just being able to have that throttle stop tune perfect, hitting the light, driving the stripe. What a tough class to do it in, like you say, at any event, and with the added pressure, and not like it was his home track, right? Like that pressure existed for him because he went there to win the title,
right?
It's when he wasn't gonna, from what I've heard in other stories, where and maybe even for a while thought he couldn't. And people pulled together and threw down some money to help him get on the swing for Vegas and Pomona. And you're going there with one, not just that you have to do that, but you're going there with the intent to win that race, to win the championship, and then to pull it off. That's some steel right there.
Yeah, Sue is back. Let's see what Sue is reconnected. Sue, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Better. And if this doesn't work, you can always try to disable your camera and just do the microphone and try for audio only. Sometimes that helps with the bandwidth issues, but go ahead.
Oh, that's true. So, yeah, the Bob Locke story is everything that you love about sportsman drag racing. Again, with him going there, so there's a lot of background to the story, and Joe, I hope you get him on for him to be able to tell it. But that's such a great news story of people. This is, again, I'll go back to, this is what sportsman drag racing is about. There are people that are pulling for other drag racers where they see they have an opportunity. They may not have the same means or ability to get in, but they in turn pull together and help that person out to get there. And that's the Bob Locke story. And, he came there, went to Vegas, he struggled, and then goes to Pomona. Things need to go right, and he needs to win the race to get the world championship. And oh my goodness, did he do it? And did he do it in great fashion? It was such amazing. I mean, we were jumping up off the couch when we saw him win. It was such a great story. Jeremy Hancock winning top dragster. We know he clinched it at Vegas. But here again, that's the same thing, right? People pulling together, saw he had an opportunity and helped him get there. And that's some of the great things about sportsman drag racing. But so many this is a first with all of these first-time world champions, going up for the world championship and earning it. It's, again, yet another exclamation point to put on this year's NHRA season, from the sportsman all the way up to the pro. It was an incredible season. Hidalgo getting the world championship and then turning around and winning the event in Super Stock was incredible, right? So many storylines, and And Joe, again, I can't wait for them to be able to come on and get the winter view going, because it's the stories are going to be incredible.
Yeah, you would think this year was definitely a special year for many different reasons. Just thinking about the success that these guys had and how they were able to, like, the 1/10 of it, 0.3 of a second for Jimmy Hidalgo Jr. was the tiebreaker to win the championship in stock eliminator. Ryan Pretty dominated comp. Pete Dagnolo has to hold off. Like, that had to be gut wrenching. Greg Stanfield coming after you. Greg Stanfield, like, the guy's the champ, gets down to the final round, right? Or the semifinal, and comes up short. Dagnolo becomes the champion. James Glenn, he had it. Yeah. He had a good lead for most of the year. Austin Williams took over the lead, and then James gets it back, and then Bob Locke, of course. What about Taylor Vetter driving on the side of the wall to win top alcohol dragster, guys? If you ever wondered the difference between NASCAR and drag racing, I think Taylor wore it better. She had it. She was actually driving on the flat of the wall, like 90 degrees, inverted, to win the race.
Troy's tweet was perfect, Troy. Yeah. It's not just Ross Chastain. That was excellent.
That was good.
I think that's the first time I've officially I got notification.
Troy is going crazy internet.
Troy got Sue's internet now.
Yeah, Troy has Sue's internet. Start again, Troy. Go ahead.
I'm back.
You're back.
I got some notification from Twitter about like over 10,000 something or other. So I think that's like the first time I've ever had something go crazy. But I'm a homer. I was rooting for Joey. I think it looked to me like he lifted because he saw what was happening in the other lane. I'm not sure if that's true or not. And so it made me wonder about, should my guy have won the race? But impressive job by Taylor, keeping it under control. And she's been working hard. She did good in Vegas. And I think she beat Joey in Vegas also.
Yeah, first round.
Yeah,
and that's the Joey Severance, Tony Stewart matchup second round. And Tony was able to get by Taylor. Because when I looked at the ladder, I figured, well, in the second round, Joey's going to run Tony, and Joey would probably beat Tony, maybe. But that didn't happen. And Taylor beat Joey, and Taylor got beaten by Tony, and Tony goes to the final round and loses to Meg, which is just so interesting. What a great season. But imagine driving on the wall on the side of the wall.
I haven't seen the videos, but how could she win? If you're on the wall, you're not supposed to touch the wall or the stripe.
It was after the finish line.
After the finish line.
Ah, okay.
He crossed the finish line.
I hadn't seen it. I just seen the picture, and I seen Troy's tweet, and it was in between water breaks, and I just couldn't figure out how they won.
So you got to work harder, Bobby. That's the answer. You have to work harder all the time.
Too much goofing off then.
We know that they didn't have an in-car camera, right? Because we would have seen that like 100 billion times, like going straight and then driving on the side of the wall and then back down. Like that was just amazing. And the deal is that her parachute clipped the block, but after she had gone through, she had won the race. She did win the race, and then the thing got crazy and ended up sliding all over the place. But she won, and that's that.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
Good deal.
Never gonna forget that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the internet right there. He said Matt Clark. He said I think he attacked all Australians right there. I don't know what he said. But it felt like a vicious attack against all Australians.
Was it aliens attack?
I don't know. And look, he's still frozen. He's frozen up. Troy, say that again in a quicker version.
Oh, I said she'll never forget it. I said it. None of those guys will ever forget it.
No, it's one of those epic for all times kind of races. All right, and then the awards banquet. I don't know if you guys saw that, the awards ceremony in beautiful Pajanga in Temecula, California, and it was great. It was. I love downtown Hollywood. That's great, Hollywood Bowl. But I have gotten my fill. And something new was cool, and it was great to go out into the casino with a bunch of racers. It was very similar to going, we call it NHRA prom, we'll talk about it with Jason and Courtney on Wednesday. It was very NHRA prom-like. Like everything that you did at the prom, for the most part, people were doing at this deal. It was good stuff. All right. I think we finished our conversation there. It's time for Sports Collision. Giovanni, Miami, Sports Collide.
Oh, whoa. What's going on?
I noticed you didn't get in on the big NHRA sportsman drag racing conversation, Giovanni.
I let the professionals talk about their stuff. I'm not going to step all over you guys' feet. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You watched, though. You were in on the whole deal.
Yeah, but, you guys all race and all that. So it's like no need for me to insert my nonsense in your stuff.
I like your sports-minded perspective, though. Maybe, that's how we grow. We get how about Money Mayweather supporting a car, maybe? Like if that works. Yeah, Monica says, wake up, Gio, is what Monica said. And that was a few minutes ago. Wake up, Gio. Monica, thank you, Monica, for monitoring Giovanni. But the whole Money Mayweather thing right now, like I am hoping that it works out. And if it did work out and you had like a Tony Stewart entry and you had a Money Mayweather entry and you had all this stuff going on, it almost feels like that would be too good to be true.
Well, I mean, that would be great for the sport. But in Mayweather, that guy is a PR genius. So whatever he does is always everywhere.
I think he would love the sport. And I think he would love the sport. He could go to the sport and compete and be a part of it and something very intense and wild and be out there. And really, it's not going to hurt him in the pocketbook.
No, man, that guy loses more money gambling than he would ever spend in NHRA. So
yeah, that's like 10 years of top fuelers for a couple weeks. Anyway, go ahead. Sports Collision. It's time for Sports Collision with Giovanni in Miami.
Sports Collision. The biggest thing going on in the world right now is the World Cup soccer tournament or football tournament, I guess, depending on where you're from. And that is what's going on. They're playing in Qatar in the middle of I guess fall because they're out there in the Middle East desert, and so they couldn't play in the summer like normal. But the U.S. got going this afternoon with their first game, and unfortunately, after getting a big goal in the first half, they gave up a late equalizer, and it ended up being a draw, which is what a lot of these early first round games end up because teams the tie is not a bad thing, I guess, for some when you're playing certain teams, and so it's better than losing. And you take your point in it and hope to advance. The U.S. soccer team plays on Friday against England. And so hopefully they can find a way to get a win or another draw there and stay alive and find a way to get going and try to advance to the second round of this tournament. But
we're going to have to play Iran to advance. I can already see in the future. And, I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but.
Well, they're not, you play the teams in your group. And so they're in a group with England, Wales, and Iran or Iran. And, right. So they'll play each of those teams one time. Right.
And so we've already tied Wales. We're going to lose to England. Iran has lost to England badly.
They lost 62 today.
We're probably going to get destroyed by England, like you would think.
Well, we shouldn't. We've got to find a way to keep it close and try and pull out a tie.
Big mistake losing to Wales today. That's all. Like that was just such a lame.
Well, it was not just a mistake. It was that they didn't take advantage of it. They had an early goal. They dominated the first half of the game. They probably should have been up at least 2 or 3 goals, and they just weren't able to close it out in the second half. They wilted away. They don't have the know-how. And the Wales changed up the strategy in the second half, and the U.S. got back on their heels and didn't have anything, man.
Bummer, man. Next.
So World Cup soccer's going on. Around here, NFL. The NFL season's heating up. The Dolphins had a bye week, but it was still great watching New England and the Jets played an abortion of a game on Sunday. It was 3-3 until there was 10 seconds left in the game, and the Jets punt the ball to New England, and they run back the first punt return of the year for a touchdown. Gets run back against the Jets. Poor Gray. I called him yelling and screaming so he could watch the end of the game. I'm like, good, come watch. Your team's about to lose on a punt return touchdown.
Yep.
And so, NFL going on. That's getting hot. And what else is out there? Thanksgiving football, lots of football on Thanksgiving this weekend. But yeah, NFL heating up, college football winding down, like we discussed earlier. The Miami Hurricanes are 5-6 right now. They got one game left to win and win me this big giant bet with Troy that's been going on, I guess now since August. I mean, imagine that. And so one last game. Look, Monica apparently is a USC fan. And so, yeah, it's a big rivalry weekend in college football. And the final standings will be decided. Ohio State plays Michigan this weekend, and one of those teams will drop out, and the other one will have their date in the playoff probably set. So we're looking at right now Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and the fourth team is TCU. So we'll see. Maybe they might find a way. If they go undefeated, they're definitely going to sneak in there. But, the college football is kind of weird because there's still those conference tournaments, and you never know what can happen. Those SEC teams are really good, and they can always sneak an extra team in there just because everybody gives them a little more respect than they might deserve. But that's what's going on. So college football winding down, NFL heating up. LSU fan chimes in.
Here we go.
Pushing
Look, I'm not going to say anything. My team
Who
plays
beat Bama? Huh? Who beat Bama?
LSU.
Oh, Monica says that Megan is another PA girl in the house. So what's up? What's up with WFO? Why are we so popular with people from Pennsylvania? We got Monica, we got Megan, we got Sue, we got David Moore. Like everybody, all our people. We are Philadelphia. What's up with that?
Philly, yeah. They got some Pittsburgh fans and Pittsburgh
crosstabs. The crosstabs.
Gotta be the weather.
Let's go Panthers. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see on Saturday. Like everybody is tuning in.
The game is 8:00 on Saturday night. Troy, they made it a night game and everything. It's they had to get the excitement out. The Canes are going to be wearing their special black uniform like that. That special one uniform they have, the black jersey, that special one with the neon letters. They haven't worn it all year, so they're going to whip it out on Saturday night.
So what is the wager? What was the wager exactly? Why don't you refresh it?
He said that the Hurricanes would not have a winning season, or that they would have a losing season. And I said that they wouldn't have a losing season. And so I never envisioned that it would come down to 6-6 being the tiebreaker. I thought that at worst they'd be 7-5, but that's why they play the games. And Troy saw it coming, man. He foresaw this losing season. It's incredible.
The power of the jinx. Anyway, Troy, do you see it the same way? Just so everybody knows, going into this weekend, maybe they'll all watch the Canes, and the Canes will get a fan or two out of this.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much how I remember it. It might be one of the first ignitions that you decided to put on YouTube. And for some reason, I thought I picked below 500 and he picked above 500, and that 500 was a push. But I will accept the current terms.
Okay.
I will go back and research the show and see what was actually said. But because
I'm all in.
I don't always have the best memory, but.
Yeah, Sue says controversy, right? Sue,
I'm all in. No controversy. I'm all in.
It's a little controversy.
What do you say, Sue?
I love the controversy. You two go back and forth.
Well, see, the reason I brought it up, Sue.
It's Joe. You see how Joe is? I remember Joe didn't even want him to make this bet. He kept trying to get him to back out. I'm having flashbacks now.
I was trying to protect Troy. And turns out I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I'm going to keep my mouth shut from now on. I don't know anything about this stuff. Scott says, fight. And everybody likes the controversy. Listen, this is a big controversy. And it's kind of funny because that show ended up on YouTube, Troy. And this show, since we're going to be ending relatively soon, it might end up on YouTube as well. And so wouldn't that be an interesting way to bookend the season if it all ends up working out like that? So.
Actually, I have the ledger here, so I'll try to go back and see if I can read my chicken.
Well, it doesn't matter. We've already restated that the deal. It's this: Canes win, Gio wins, Kane lose, Troy wins. That's the bet now.
Well, yes, we have for weeks. We have been accepting this as the bet.
That was reality.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a push is no fun. That's not how we want to. Someone has to win.
Exactly.
Right. Otherwise, we would have made it 5.5 or 6.5.
Somebody has to. It's like a tie in the baseball all-star game, and everybody just goes home after 3 hours of nothing. Nobody likes that stuff. We hate.
It's like a tie. It's like a tie against Wales in the World Cup.
We are very
They
annoyed.
call it a draw. I don't even know a draw. Like,
Are
yeah,
you
like,
kidding
you want
me?
to draw on yourself.
Wales, a 1-1 barn burner with Wales.
They haven't
Oh,
been.
Wales, are they even really a
what do you
country?
expect?
I mean, look, I'm no
What do you
genius,
know
but
about
are Wales even really a country? Aren't they just like a little piece of land there on the side of
Matt
England?
Clark will know. Matt, what do you know about
Like a
Wales?
county.
Come on,
It's like a
Matt Clark.
county.
I know you're much more educated on this. I know that they're part of the UK, but as far as I'm concerned, they look like just like a little left portion of England there on the side.
What's the story, Matt Clark? You're muted. The people from Wales are muting Matt. Matt, you're muted. Let me unmute him. There
Matt
you go.
hates the British anyway. I think they don't.
Yeah,
like
no,
the
he doesn't
British.
like being under the thumb of the Queen. Go ahead.
Whatever I say, the English won't like me.
It's like a little county or something, like a village.
No, I mean I don't think it's a county, but I mean realistically, it looks like like a state there on the side.
Gio,
It's
you
not-
got the internet. Why don't
Correct.
you look it up? Population of Wales.
No,
What is it?
Oh, it can't be anything.
Well, that's the big thing. Like, how does a country with 330 million people go toe to toe with a province that has like, I'm going to guess, right?
3.1 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah. There's more
How
people
many?
in Dade County. There's more people in Dade County where I live than there is in the whole country of Wales.
How many, Gio?
3.1
million.
according to this in
Oh,
2018.
New Zealand have more people than that.
Yeah, New Zealand, and they're good.
I mean,
They're
so
good.
again, are they
New
even a
Zealand's
real
good.
country?
They've got real athletes over there in New Zealand.
No, yeah. Well, they got that. What's his name? Christian Bale. No, not his name. Not Christian Bale. That's the Batman guy. It's Gareth Bale. Is what it is. He's a real soccer player. Batman would probably be very good at it.
What's
too.
wrong with us, man? We got 330 million. Yeah, our number one top level athletes. They don't go play soccer.
They don't go play the soccer, man. They play the big money sports in the U.S.
But at some point, you'd think that the kids are going to, some of them are going to play enough.
Well,
to
look,
play
Christian
soccer.
Pulisic is one of those, but because the thing is, to make the big money soccer money, you got to go to Europe, and so
Right.
why go move to Europe and play soccer around there when you can, shoot the ball through the hoop here or play baseball or football or what have you?
I guess. I don't know. I sometimes think your sport chooses you because you're good at it, right? Like, look at all the athletes that play, baseball, basketball, they play everything, but they can go to the show in one of them and they pick that one. I don't know. We need more soccer kids if we're going to be any better at this. All right. Is that it for Sports Collision, Gio?
Yeah, I
Crap
think
in the
that's all
mail.
I got for the sports collision. We have other, stuff that doesn't.
They didn't
involve
win
sport.
America didn't go any good in the rugby league World Cup either, Gio.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all.
What happened to us in the
If
rugby
you
league?
put a helmet and shoulder pads on them boys, I bet we'd whoop their asses.
Maybe. We don't have to wear helmets and shoulder pads.
Well, I know you guys are real men, right? Obviously.
The caps. Other
Okay,
caps.
tape the ears back.
Yeah. It's just different. It's just a different kind of
Well,
sport.
that's actually rugby union that tapes the ears back. So
Oh, you got to keep me straight.
So there-
keep me straight.
there's actually two different games. It's like softball and baseball. They play on the same ground, but they're two different games, two different sets of rules, different amount of players on the ground.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Good note. Good note. And there you go. You're on Australian note for the show. There is usually one.
So Sports Collision, Australia beats Samoa in the Men's Rugby League World Cup, played in England, and Australia beat New Zealand in the ladies' competition, 54-4. Actually, quite a big score.
Throttled them.
Throttled them, as we do.
There's ladies rugby.
Rugby league. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
What do they? What do they wear? Like rugby clothes?
Yeah. Sure.
Lingerie.
What do they wear?
No, it's I've seen that show, Joe.
What do
I
they
like
wear?
that.
I was thinking of that commercial.
What are them
Uh,
There is precedent. There is
Shorts and it.
historical sporting precedent that says that is an open question, and I just figured I would ask.
Shorts and a
Standard clothes,
jersey.
Same as the men.
Shorts and a jersey. Yep. And
All right.
each and every one of them would kick your butt, Joe.
Oh, I have no doubts. I have no doubts. I couldn't
And
even
from
run
the-
away.
Mhm.
I
No,
couldn't
very
even
fast,
run
very
away from them.
the,
They're going to be
in the ladies'
faster.
game.
They're going to move better.
You wear a leotard, I wear the required uniform.
Exactly. All right. Sports Collision in the books, Gio. Good job. Anybody got anything else to add for Sports Collision? Yeah, no. Okay. I had a couple of things before we part ways. You know, the story about Jay Leno getting burned. That's a terrible story. He got out of the hospital today.
But he's out of the hospital.
He's out of the hospital. But like everybody is wondering, like, okay, how bad is Jay? Right? Like I don't think everybody loves Jay Leno, but he's kind of a car culture guy. He's one of our car culture crew. And I just hope
look, man, I like Letterman better than Leno, but I don't want him to die in a ball of gasoline in his face.
Well, I don't want him to be disfigured either. And that's what I'm, anyway, I hope you get well soon, Jay.
Do you guys remember the Iron J segment that he used to do when he was at the gym and he would make his chin stick out real big? When you're bored on YouTube, look up Iron J segments. They're really good.
They're fun.
Right. Well, I will. I just get well soon, Jay Leno. Pickle Rick says, what do they wear? What can they bench? LOL. Megan says, good God. So maybe my comment was over the line. Very Ignition. Looked like the neck area got burned. Monica says, it looked like the neck area got burned, which is good. Shows, just wanted to reaffirm the offer, everybody. Sue, I have put on like 4 people to this offer, and they have finally taken me up on it, and they love it. Let me give you an example. Giovanni in Miami. What did you think of the offer?
Oh, I saw it. It was amazing.
There it is.
I knew a lot of the stories, but I didn't realize that so much background, so much more background, and everything. The offer, amazing. Catches you in from first episode. Next thing you know, you're pulling out an all-nighter to watch all 10 hours.
That's it. If you like The Godfather, you must watch The Offer. If you are like Lowe and have never watched The Godfather and do not care, then, it's still entertaining. And I think maybe you'll want to watch The Godfather more by watching the show. Giovanni, on that note.
What I will say is that the show is so good, because it's not a show, but the series, and it's really like almost like a documentary. It's so good that it kind of leaves you. There's so many times that you wonder how did this movie, does this movie even get made? And we know it got made, so we know the movie got made, but the whole story is so well done, and they tell it so well that it really has you going, there's no way they're making this movie. There's no way they get this movie done.
Can't get made.
Even though we know that they got the movie done.
They're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin the movie, and they don't ruin the movie, and it turns out to be arguably, for some, one of the greatest movies ever made. Sue, do you feel that same way?
Oh, absolutely. And again, even if you've not watched the movie, go watch the series. You will then want to watch The Godfather. Guaranteed.
Probably. Like, if
It
you're
is
now one of those few people who has not seen The Godfather, it's probably best to watch this show first. Like, this is going to introduce a whole new, because you're going to watch The Godfather, you're going to be like, oh, this is an old movie, right? Like, oh, look, it's kind of dark, and I don't know. You watch this, and you'll be like, oh my God, I got to watch this. I got to check it out. And you'll end up liking it. I think.
Just for the whole sense of Americana and history and everything too.
Ooh, fight breaking out in the chat section, guys. Monica says Godfather and Goodfellas, great movies. And Bobby says, I haven't watched it. And she says, shame on you, Bobby. Shame. Like breaks out shame. I agree.
Neither?
I got other things to do, Monica.
Not watched either?
Bobby doesn't like gangster flicks, man.
Star Wars either.
Star Wars. None of them. But I bet you've seen Rocky.
No.
Oh, Troy's got a big money man. Get ready for it, Troy. We're gonna start winding down here in a second. Gio has put a time limit on the show, and he is right. We want it to go up on YouTube. This one is going to be fun for the off season. Subscribe, click the bell, everybody. WFO off season is coming. I just wanted to put everybody up on an idea of a show. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not endorsing it. I don't know what it is. We are all in this new universe where we watch all our own stuff, and there is no more like communal viewing. Like once upon a time, you'd get to the water cooler on Friday morning and you'd talk about Seinfeld or something that happened, or for us, The Sopranos. We loved The Sopranos and we would always talk about The Sopranos. But now that the viewing community, or whatever you want to call it, is fractured, we don't have that anymore, where they put out a show like Star Wars. So there's a new show called Tulsa King, where Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, plays a mobster who is fresh out of jail for 25 years after keeping his mouth shut and not ratting on his friends. Goodfellas reference right there, Bobby, that you didn't get.
That's because his plastic surgery won't let him talk anymore.
I don't know, man. The guy looks pretty good. And he's in this new mob show. Stallone apparently has never played a mobster in his career. He's always been a cop. He's already been the good guy, but he's never been the bad guy. My mom told me that. I don't know if it's true or not. But
I heard him say that in an interview that he had never been a mobster. That he even tried out for a Godfather, and they told him he wasn't Italian enough.
Oh my gosh, that wasn't in the
that hurt.
So this Tulsa King is 2 episodes in now. Everybody can catch up if you want to catch up, right? And it looks to me it shows some promise, as in it's a mob movie, but it's set in Tulsa, so there's a little fish out of water. He goes and shakes down some guys at a medical marijuana dispensary, so that's very modern. There's a bunch of stuff that's going on, and Sly is a very well-read literature guy in the joint. All these interesting things. So I'm going to be watching Tulsa King and giving a little review. And I think everybody should get on board with it. You're only 2 episodes behind. I hear they're showing it on Paramount, their cable channel, and of course Paramount Plus, where you can find the offer. And so we're really shilling for the Paramount Plus streaming service on WFO lately because they've had a couple of decent shows, right? Decent shows.
Joe, I'm so right there with you.
Well, they got Beavis and Butthead for that.
You've seen it? You've watched it, Sue?
Oh, yes, we watched the first 2. I can't wait for the next one.
Okay.
Stallone is awesome. And just the nuances, and I don't want to ruin for anybody, but just the nuances, I'll say, old to new, and what he's expecting and going to this Midwest Oklahoma area. And yeah, you got to check it out. You're not behind.
And Gio's wearing
like 30 minutes.
Yeah, they're like 40 minutes or something. It's not like long. Gio's wearing the Cobra Kai shirt. There's a little flavor from Cobra Kai, like, Gen X versus millennial, Gen Z. Like, what is that? Like, wouldn't it be great if there was a device where you could look stuff up? And the guy's like, yeah, man, there is. All that
in that part, actually. But
was he? I don't think he was.
Oh,
I think he was the guy who was in the Clink for 25 years, and he's like, that's his reality. But Sue Morris has endorsed it. I need say nothing more.
There you go.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is. All right, Sue, final thought. As you guys are heading north, we're going to start wrapping up the show here. What do you got before Thanksgiving? Quick reminder, Thanksgiving is this week, guys, and I'm thankful for the WFO universe. What about you, Sue? What do you got?
Hey, you know what? It is Thanksgiving week, and just be thankful. Reach out, family, friends, it's that time of year. There's so much to be thankful for this time of year. And really appreciate everybody around this virtual room. A lot of friends out there. And everybody buckle up. And we're getting ready. 2 weeks is PRI. So hang on.
That's right. Are you going to be at PRI, Sue?
Yes, we are. We'll be there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's breaking news. Sue Morris and David is going to be there as well.
Yeah, we will be there.
All right. That is very exciting. Dave and Sue Morris are going to be at PRI. That's it. Changes the game. This is a good opportunity for me to tell everyone to join us in booth number 1525, Total Seals booth, because they're going to have some really cool stuff going on. There's going to be like a little bit of a practice tree situation going on over there, the Total Seal and the Melling booth. And there will be folks from PRI will be there taking donations to support the RPM Act and help learn what PRI can do to save our race cars. And so I encourage everybody to come by booth 1525. We're going to be doing hidden horsepower over there, but throughout the weekend, I will also be over there at the FTI Performance booth and kind of hanging out with the WFO supporters. And so everybody get into PRI. It's going to be great. Sue, we got to have a drink at a bar somewhere.
You got it. We'll set it up.
All right.
It's going to be a meetup.
Done deal. Meetup happening. That's
So
great.
do you like PRI better than SEMA, or which one do you like better?
I do. I like PRI much better than SEMA. No offense,
Yeah,
SEMA.
no offense, SEMA. SEMA is just a different world than PRI. I do like PRI better than SEMA, but I would say you have to do SEMA once just for the experience. It's
Absolutely.
very cool.
SEMA is just way bigger, Troy. And then you take our community and you put it inside this giant, like even much larger community. Whereas you pull at PRI, it's all racing. Like everywhere you go, every corner you turn, it's something as a racer, you're interested in. Giovanni has been there. Parts, pieces, dirt track, like you're interested in everything. Whereas at SEMA, there's a lot of stuff that you're definitely not going to be interested in because it's
more automotive. It's I mean, you'll
general.
See SEMA is paint booths, LEDs, like everything that you could think of besides there's racing intermixed into
boom
it.
Boxes.
And exactly. I mean, that's
think about it, right?
It's-
No
yeah,
rider stuff and everything.
ATVs. There's everything. There's everything.
Again, put it on your list, do it one day, but PRI to me is ranks top.
Stu, Monica wants to know if you're heading her way up there to Philly.
Yeah, we'll probably be not far from your neck of the woods there, Monica.
There it is.
We'll be
David, Stu are heading up
spanning
there.
from probably Reading to Philly.
There you go. There you go. Pickle Rick says way too much electric vehicles at SEMA this year. I felt like the EV count was down from the previous year, Pickle Rick. 2 years ago, crazy electrics, too much. Like we can put an electric motor in, a 57 pickup truck. People, I think, rejected it. This year was fewer, in my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. But we'll see what happened. All right, Sue, great job. Great job. Matt in Australia. Yes, Sue, go ahead.
One last shout out. Jambalaya J, we're coming your way too. So hope to see you up there.
Oh, are you going to go to the Reading Market and get some jambalaya?
Yes, we are. It's on the
Wow.
list.
Oh, my gosh. You guys go rolling in there. You got to video that or something. You and Dave attacking Jambalaya J. Can you get some jambalaya and then bring it back to South Carolina, and then you can mail it to me and Gio so we can enjoy it again, please?
Sure, absolutely. You got it.
Thank you. Because you can't sell it out. It's some sort of Philly rule. You can't mail it. You can't mail stuff.
Yeah.
We love jambalaya.
We'll do it.
That was great jambalaya. I mean,
Dude, I'm guessing
try it.
contrabands being mailed all over the country, left and right, man.
There's all kinds of stuff. Monica says never been to the Reading Market. We'll see. All right,
we
Matt
gotta
Clark.
meet up, Monica.
All right, meetup happening. Way to go, Monica. You guys reach out. Matt Clark, go.
Just a quick one. Our friends at Davies Racing, Michelle, has been home for over a week now, which is really good. Half a week into her rehab from home, she was in excruciating pain, got rushed back to hospital. Just to add to her injuries, another MRI, and this time they found a cracked pelvis as well from her injury. So rehab stopped, but she's still at home, just letting time mend all wounds.
Big hit.
They've since looked at the data logger, negative 9 Gs on impact when it hit the wall, and it hit right on the driver's door and on the main hoop. So yeah, pretty big. And anything else? I think Joe asked if there was a memorable moment in Ignition.
Yes.
Earlier.
Perhaps.
Yes. Well, you asked about the most memorable moments of the year on Ignition.
Yes.
You did?
Maybe.
Well, the Oscar goes to the man in the middle, Gio in Miami, falling off the chair.
Oh.
There is no more memorable moment than that. Nor there ever will be.
Yeah. I got to say, Matt, it's funny that you bring that up because everybody has been talking about the chair fall and just how exciting it was. Like, what happened with this guy? Like, how did he fall off the chair?
Slow motion.
Didn't I play that?
It was like watching the $6 Million Man. It was like
Gio.
There he went. Boom.
They don't want to see it again, dude. They're all right.
I don't think I have it available.
Look at that. Imagine that.
I don't think I have it available.
Maybe the video passed by a big magnet. and only Bobby and Matt get the reference.
I get the reference. Took me a second though, but yeah, I got the reference. That's a good reference. That is a great reference. The chair. No, I appreciate that, Matt. Like, it's kind of not an audio deal, but nonetheless, Giovanni falling down while on air, enjoyed by everyone. Good job, Gio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever show them the pictures of the Mike Tyson knockout version, though? You never showed them that. I know you got those. My spy reports told me that you were sent those pictures.
What? The Mike Tyson knockout? What do you mean?
Yeah, Eddie sent you pictures, man.
Oh yeah, I did. I did get those. I did get those.
7th generation Mustang on the weekend as well, and they had the lady's name escapes me, but she's the head of marketing for Ford.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I'm not sure.
What happened? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if you did a backwards flip.
Backwards
Maybe a pure wet.
That's really good. No, it's called falling on my horse.
And he's injured still. This poor guy. You guys are laughing at him. Gio, I just want you to know that I was not part of that. And they are all laughing at you. And that's terrible, guys. That is terrible. You should laugh with your friend Giovanni, not at him.
Yeah.
That's full stats, man. That's good.
Yeah, there it is. This one's definitely going on YouTube. Good job, Matt. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. All right, Troy has got a big money minute. Go ahead, Troy.
It's pretty late in the year for a big money minute, and out here on the West Coast, we're running out of opportunities to race for sure. This last weekend, Streetcar Super Nationals were happening, but that's not a bracket race, and so we're talking about Famoso West Coast Classic. Our own dragster Jeff Kreider spent some time out there this weekend with multiple entries, went some rounds. So I don't know if Jeff's still out there, but watched you doing your thing, Jeff. And there was about 300 other racers there as well. Great action all week, clear skies and cool air. It's getting real cold out here on the West Coast. CW Hafer kicked the winning off on Thursday in Pro, forcing out Pedro Valadez on a breakout. Tim Wirtz laid down 25 total in the round of Super Pro, and they got things kicked off. Then on Friday, Kid Performance Friday, everyone's laying down nasty laps, but there's a big oil down, maybe the longest oil down I've ever watched. And some Cold Tamsin pushes that finish to Saturday, where Race Kid enjoys the benefits of back-to-back 003 reds at the other lane to claim the victory in Super Pro. Andy Schmall hits up the big money circuit. He's an Idaho guy, runs it sweet Beretta, real nasty all day. Takes down Sasha Hafer for the money in Pro. And then Saturday, largest main event payouts in West Coast Classic history. And Steve Scher was back in the mix, but so was Thursday's winner, CW Hafer. Hafer takes 3,000 up front, but Scher stays behind and gets the win in his 67 Camaro and a check for $7,500. And in Super Pro, the finals have Dale Taros in a front engine dragster all the way in the final round on one side. And on the other side, Jeff Serra on the West Coast. Jeff Serra hops a plane from Pennsylvania and comes out and hops in Shane Thompson's beautiful dragster. And they're both in. And Taros is 004, Serra's 002, but the Fed was red. 004 red. So Serra takes home the money, $20,000. And that guy wins all the money on the East Coast. And just had to hop on a plane, come out here and take the big check from all the West Coasters too. So pretty crazy. And then the final day, Sunday Javu. You see that? You see what I did there? Sunday Javu.
Yep.
Andy Small.
Deja vu. Got it.
That's right. Andy Schmall is back in there looking for another win, but he's got to face Roger Phillips, who has a sweet hot green Nova. Brought it all the way up from Modesto. Phillips goes 10, 15, and 004 in his final three passes. Schmall is 15, dead 8, no good in the finals. So Phillips gets the win in Pro. And then on the Super Pro side, it was Race Kid up against Race Kid. Takes both entries all the way to the final round, wins the winner money and the runner-up money. And so Race, young guy who's just an amazing racer. It couldn't have happened to a better kid. And he's just his dad from Kid Performance, Mark Kidd, a well-respected racer out here on the West Coast, builds amazing engines at Kid Performance. Just a really Out here on the west side, the Kid family is kind of drag racing royalty around here. We all love those guys, and so great job by Race Kid racing himself in the finals to take home all the money on Sunday. And we're pretty much all done out here on the West Coast. It's winter time. The tracks are cold. The toddies are hot. The fireplace flues are wide effing open. And that is the big money minute.
Way to go, Troy. Way to bring it. Dragster Jeff says Jeff Sarah gave a clinic holding 8 throughout the weekend. That makes sense. He also says that he's donating blood in the morning. Happy Thanksgiving to all of us. And you should all, if you are able, donate blood, be a hero, stay blessed, everyone. Way to go, Dragster Jeff. Thank you very much. I like the, let's keep the pressure on everybody to go do good stuff for Thanksgiving. That is awesome. That is awesome. Troy kissing his little child goodnight. That's so wonderful. They're off camera, though. That's so cute. That's so cute. All right.
Oh, it's great when they still love
All
you.
right.
They still love you. Yours not anymore. Oh my gosh, the Gray stayed at Uncle Joe's house the other day. We got big problems. But anyway, Bobby Graham, go ahead.
All right. I just got one real quick one. When you do a job, you get finished with it, you always reminisce about how hard it was to do everything. Got a little planning for you. If you got a job to do that you're not real familiar with, just imagine everything that could go wrong. Okay. That way, when you finish the job, you feel so much better about it because it went better than you expected. And that's my words of wisdom.
Yeah, that's good advice. Like all the hard, like I have my fingers could be chopped off if I did this. It's like, oh my gosh, I made it without chopping off my fingers. That's a good bit right there, Bobby Graham. I like that. All right, before we get to Giovanni, let me just tell a quick story about the Gray. You know, I drafted the Gray over here to help me with a couple of household projects, right? Not household stuff. I had to go to my parents' house and clean and oil their K&N air filters, which I did. The Gray helped me install and check some oil, so that was good. Got a little hands-on stuff. And then on my 98 Firebird, the right window headlight motor, you know, it's got those hideaway headlights, flip-top headlights. It stopped going up. And so I didn't want to be pulled over. And so I bought a motor and was ready to do it. Me and the Gray were going to do it, Gia. Like we dived into it and we started doing stuff and I had the Gray do some things and he got in the car and says, hey, turn on the lights, Gray. And he turned them on and boom, they just both went up mystically. Like, I don't know. The kid's got the magic touch and we didn't have to do anything. We just fiddled with it. We fiddled with it and it went back to working again. And so project over. All right, Gray, you fixed it. That's it. Send it. And we're going to wait. And now I have a headlight motor. But the kid, little hands-on mechanics, guys, I'm trying to bring him into the deal. And he seemed to have fun as well. Super excited since the last time we spoke. But I don't think we've done an Ignition show since he came with me to Fastlane Friday. He had a great time out there. Just him and his uncle enjoying a little drag racing from the starting line. And he has expressed the desire to go again as soon as is possible. Uncle Joe, when is the next Fastlane Friday? Can I go? Oh, you want to come? Yeah, I want to go. I want to go as often as I can, says the Gray. So super excited. It's working out. Reeling him in. All right, Gio, what's your final thought?
Well, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you get to hang out and enjoy your family, friends, or whatever it is. And remember, it ain't cool being no jive turkey so close to Thanksgiving.
That's right. Don't be a jive turkey. That's right.
I did watch that movie.
You did not watch Trading Places. Did you?
It came on one night and I just had to watch it because y'all keep referencing it so much. I had to watch it to see what it was all about.
Did you find it entertaining?
Uh-oh.
Did you find it entertaining, Bobby?
It was entertaining.
Yeah, Trading Places is a fantastic. It's the best, one of the best holiday movies. There you go. Monica says, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope everyone has a wonderful and safe holiday. Monica says she'll send me AJ to put him to work if need be. Yeah, I need an army of folks down here. All right, guys, great job. Yeah, Bobby's the guy who needs an army of workers. He needs an army of workers. Put him on the tractor, the whole deal. All right, guys, great job. Thank you very much, Sue. I'm going to bounce you on out of here. Any final thoughts for Sue? Thank you, Sue.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. WFO.
Says Sue Morris.
Be careful, Sue.
Yes, absolutely. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate you, bud. There he is.
Hey, Mike.
Pretty soon he's going to have to be back at
You
work,
guys celebrate
right? Like,
Thanksgiving in the Upside Down?
yeah. What do you have down there?
Koala.
Why would they do that, Gio?
To celebrate American greatness, Troy.
Because
They're like our little brother. They don't want something good. They're not thankful for their big brother.
When the Pilgrims came over and hung out with the native Australians in the Mayflower and shit.
That's it. Goodbye, Matt. Troy, we made Gio break the no-hitter. Guy had a no-hitter going, and you've ruined it. Way to go. Way to go. Troy, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you all. Nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great week. A safe holiday week. Be safe. Make good choices. And call the people that you haven't talked to in a long time. Because
yes,
forever's a long time. So mend those fences. Make those phone calls.
Careful who you marry.
You never know. Be thankful for people while you got them. You never know when you won't.
Wow. Great. So true. So true. Mend those fences. Got to go and find and repair. Definitely. Thank you, Troy. And Bobby Graham, thank you, bud. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, man.
There you
WFO.
go.
Have a great Thanksgiving, great weekend.
Thanksgiving. That's right. And Giovanni, excellent work once again.
WFO, everyone.
How do you feel good about the timing? You feel good about the timing of this show?
Yeah, look, we're going to make it under the 2-hour limit.
I did that for you, bud. That's your Thanksgiving gift.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're very welcome. And then you drop the S word at the very end, but it's okay. We're leaving it. Sorry, kids. Sometimes it happens. All right, there he goes. Giovanni in Miami. And that leaves me. And I just want to say thank you very much to everybody who has watched this show. We're going to put this thing on the YouTube channel. And this is Ignition, the audio only podcast version of WFO Radio, which is really just us getting together and talking about the issues of the day. And of course, racing and whatever comes up, but it's loose. It's not fast exactly, but it's kind of like the throwback to my talk radio career that was so productive and prosperous at one point. And now we're here. And so I appreciate everybody. Subscribe, click the bell, do your thing, and share the show. I do want to thank the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. Like, for instance, our WFO store, where there are all kinds of great holiday gift ideas for you and the family. Go to the website, WFOradio.com, and check out the WFO store. There's countless WFO things, and we've expanded beyond just WFO logo stuff. That's not all of the stuff that we have, although it is a lot of it. The Patreons, you want to join this motley bunch? Yes. What a crew they are. Patreon.com/WFO radio, or just go to our website and you can click on Patreon, and you got to pay, monthly. But they get special shows. We're going to really ramp up during the off season now that Michael Heiner has agreed to work for free. And we're going to have like a real genuine pro stock crew chief giving us information. That's going to be a lot of fun for the Patreons, all that stuff. Thank you so much. Of course, Matt Clark and his torque calibration services of Australia. All you people down there in the Upside Down, you should definitely be reaching out to Matt Clark if you need your torque wrenches calibrated. Marvin Rodak, the holiday packs. Pound of coffee, bottle of hot sauce, container of spice rub. Call Marvin. This is what I would like you to send to all of your Christmas people, and that's what my Christmas people are getting, and they love it. Frank Hawley's drag racing school, like for instance, they get Marvin Rodak's coffee, just to let you know how it works. But if you want to drive a dragster, my goodness, 817-924-6821 for Marvin. Frank Hawley's, go to frankhawley.com. In both situations, tell them you heard about it on WFO. $400, you're driving a dragster? It's a great gift for the drag racer in your life. samtech.edu, not so much a gift, more of a life decision. Really needs to be decided upon by the person going. They want to go and make a decision, become a machinist, an engine builder, etc. EFI tuner, samtech.edu. They'll be at PRI. Bernie's Speed Shop. This is Josh Hart's biz up there in Ocala, Florida. If you want to buy a muscle car, if you want to sell a muscle car, if you want some work done, if you want to frame off restoration, they do it all at Bernie's. Go to bernies.com, and hopefully everybody in the WFO universe has already liked their social media. Phillips Connect. Oh my goodness, what a year it has been for Phillips Connect. Go to phillips-connect.com to check out their website and all the different ways that they can take your transportation technology and make it smart, whether it be tractor trailer parking or cargo loaded or versus empty sensors, all of these things available at Phillips-Connect smart trailer technology. Thanks to Phillips. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. All they do is win. It's not cheating. It is the competitive edge. FTI is a decal that you'll see on most cars that win in the .90 categories, big money bracket categories. They're located in DeLand, Florida. And if you're going to refresh your stuff this winter break, why don't you try FTI? And of course, tell them you heard about it on WFO. Same is true for Total Seal piston rings. And I want to invite everyone out to booth number 1525 at PRI. Walk by, shout out WFO, say what's up, come see Lake Speed, come see Keith Jones, come meet all the stars and celebrities behind the Hidden Horsepower podcast. Total Seal booth 1525 at PRI. That's where I will be often, most of the time. And remember the WFO store where you can get shirts and stuff, but you can also get free stickers by sending a self-addressed stamped envelope to P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. That means you fill out an envelope with a stamp on it and your address on it. So I just have to put the stickers in. Somebody, very kind of heart, put a stamp in an envelope. And they did pay for the stamp, which is great. But that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the busy work of writing down the address. But I'm going to do it for you guys regardless. And that will be that. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate everybody that is in the WFO universe. And I just want to say to my parents, thank you for supporting everything I've done. And my family and friends, thank you very much for not being too much of a pain. And to the entire WFO universe. Wow, what a year we have had. And it's going to keep getting better because we're not done yet. Perfect example, Wednesday, happy hour with Jason and Courtney. They're going to be talking about the NHRA Awards banquet. We're going to talk about all the behind the scenes, the big fight that broke out. No, there was no fight. We were prophesizing that a fight might break out, but it didn't. Some suggested that I might be the one in the fight. It was great. We had a great time. It was had by all. Changa, Temecula. I recommend it. It was really cool. Look forward to next year. But also, next week, I will be on the E-Part Trade Industry Week. You know, I do that yearly gig. It's basically Tuesday through Friday, seminars and interviews. We're going to have John Force Racing on there. We're going to do NHRA. We're going to do Total Seal. So you probably enjoy that E-Part Trade Industry Week. I'll give you the links later on in the week. And then it's off to the PRI Trade Show. We are going to have a winner's show a week from today, which is Monday. And I think it's November 28th. Guests include Cruz Pedregon, Greg Anderson, Angie Smith. 3 out of the 4 Camping World Series winners from the Auto Club Finals will be joining us on Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We had a big audience for the Monday show today, so I figure everybody's stuck at home. Let's do some big shows. And then it'll be off to PRI the following week. All right, guys, really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. And if you're watching on YouTube for the very first time, download the podcast. They don't all make it to YouTube, but this one did. You can listen every week, audio only, while you're driving. WFO.